And we are live. Fantastic. Hey, everybody. My name is Kelly Gordon. I am the CEO and founder of cyberpreneur Inferno, and you are inside my group, so you should know that, Digital Agency Empire Builders. And I am here today with Jamal Rowe. He is the founder of JR Media. He was one of the first into cyberpreneur Inferno. So super exciting to talk with him today. We've had, gosh, I think we're like 20 days shy of you being in the program for a full year,
Yeah,
which is crazy. Yeah, like we've known each other for that long, right?
literally.
Insane.
It's nuts. Yeah, the time's really flown by. And kind of like a lot just kind of happened in that time. And I feel really close to you. Like I've really kind of got to know you in that time as well. And obviously you've, developed and grown and gone through a lot of stuff as well for that time. So yeah, it's been an awesome year, and kind of like seeing each other kind of develop. It's been amazing, as well as everyone else in the group.
I know I was of course getting ready for this, and I was like, wow, 20 days shy of a year. Whoa. I mean, I guess we're getting real up on 2022, which is a whole other conversation, but goodness.
But so I just want to say as well, like it's funny as well, kind of reflecting, like you said, it's 20 days shy of almost being a year in the program. And as well as that, I was also earlier kind of looking back on my kind of past self, like, myself a year ago, and seeing the kind of difference between, Jam then and Jam now. And it's kind of like, fucking hell. Sorry, I don't know if I can curse, but it's like, geez,
most people know me, so it's fine.
But yeah, it's like, geez, like, boy, don't grow up. Do you know what I mean? Boy, don't grow up. So, yeah, man.
I love that, right? Like anytime we talk about it in the program, it's, as you feel yourself elevating, what you notice are the quality of your conversations and the quality of your questions change personally and professionally. And so like, I know for me, God, don't go back and look at the beginning Q&As. Like it's a whole thing. But we come down, we can see that progression. I love that you can see that in yourself as well. What do you think the biggest change has been over the last year for you?
I'd say 100% confidence. Still a work in progress, but I think, is for everyone, but 100% confidence. I remember, and I still kind of make this joke now, when I first got in the program, that gif, right, of like the koala clinging to.
I still tell people about that gif.
Like it's just so perfect because when I jumped in, I was literally clueless. I was scared, naked and alone, right? And I was like, look, Kelly, I'm gonna be asking you for everything. Do you know what I mean? Even just like, where's the publish button on Facebook, guys? Like literally, like I'm gonna be like this koala on your leg. Like I hope you're cool with that. And you're like, you replied with so I was like, yeah, she's good. So yeah, man, it's definitely confidence. Anyway, to answer the question, 100%.
I love that. Yeah. What was the single reason that you wanted to do a digital agency, right? Like we can kind of get to like why you chose like me or cyberpreneur, but like why did you decide that in the first place?
Yeah, sure. I think it's the reason that kind of resonates with a lot of people, right? It was kind of like it's just such an awesome business model, and also as well as kind of like generating cash flow is awesome, and as well as that, I think the reason that kind of getting into making a digital agency, marketing agency is so awesome is because you acquire so many transferable skills, like going through that, right? So like going into starting a digital agency as like an absolute noob, like you learn so much things, right? You learn about obviously organization, hiring, service delivery, operations, market. It's like you learn all these things, and I just think it's like the quickest way to kind of level up as a business owner, right? Because you can take those skills and use them in other areas of your life, which I've definitely done. So yeah, so to answer your question simply, one is such an attractive kind of business model, right? And also it's kind of like one of the perfect businesses to kind of create a kind of freedom kind of lifestyle, which is for me something that was huge. One of my biggest values is freedom, being able to kind of work from anywhere. So yeah, 100%. That's why.
One of my favorite things about your journey specifically is what you did prior to this right? You
Yeah.
kind of tell them about that and how you are able to kind of stay with the thing that you love. There is a passion there for you and service that. So if you want to tell everybody kind of, what you did before and how you made that bridge and how we worked to kind of make that work for you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for asking. I'm so glad you brought that up so you can kind of touch on that. So yeah, I was I was actually an English teacher in Japan, and I was out in Japan for 5 years working in a public high school, which I absolutely loved, right? But as that kind of chapter of life kind of came to an end, I was always kind of like I want to get into the digital marketing space and kind of stay really close to the kind of education side of things because I just had affinity there, right? And also, when you're starting an agency, whatever business, it's like pick a niche, right? And that's always like the biggest hurdle. It's like it will screw people up, right? Like because you just get so stuck with what to choose. Should I go with plastic surgeons? Should I go with dentists and all this other stuff? And I was in that space for a little bit. This is prior to meeting you, but then I got this piece of advice, which was just like stick with what you kind of know, what you have the most affinity with, right? And I was like, well, it's languages. I taught myself Japanese, and I've taught another language as well. So I'm like, yeah, kind of like languages and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, you don't really hear about that being spoken in the SMA space, right? It's not like, yeah, man, go pick up language coaches.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. You just don't hear it, right?
Right.
So I definitely did have a bit of conflict because I was like, man, well, there's no one else kind of doing language coaches. Like, is it even viable? Is it even a space?
Right.
But I kind of put that voice to one side and I went out there, and I was able to literally find like the dream client. Do you know what I mean? In the language space and like language/neuroscience space, which is all me. That's like right up my alley. But I never would have found that if I didn't stay kind of just true to that kind of what I had affinity with, and if I didn't just kind of go for it, right? I just just to say as well, I did kind of dabble in the dentistry space, and I still laugh because of the experience. I remember I tried to close this dentist, who's like this holistic dentist, right? And like I almost ended up getting closed on joining her like network marketing program, which is just crazy, right? Like surprise attack. So it just goes to show, like, I just wasn't. There wasn't no flow there, right? I just wasn't kind of in
They weren't your
tune.
people.
They weren't my people. But the moment I started reaching out to language coaches and these like neuroscientists, like it was just a lot easier. And yeah, so
I love that. And that's a big thing. Like you said, like I think people forget there are other things to do just because it isn't touted as the place to start for, like you said, plastic surgeons or dentists or chiropractors or spas or like whatever that looks like, that there are so many niches out there that you can find your specific person or your people. Right.
That's it, 100%.
And, like in the program, we teach like the sales from the framework to operations and fulfillment and all of that, but we can't teach you, no one can, right? How is it that as a non-roofer, do you talk to roofers, right? How is it as a educator, English speaker, how do you speak to language coaches, right? Or language companies? It's not, that has to come from you, right? And so somebody can feed you any sort of scripts or whatever, but we didn't. We gave you frameworks and said, this is how the process works. And then you were able to put you inside of that. What did that feel like?
Yeah, that's an awesome question as well. I think frameworks over scripts 100%, right? And I didn't get this at the beginning. At the start, it was just like, give it a script, give me the script. Like, what do I say? Like, how do I say it kind of thing. And I really feel like that's kind of, I don't want to say trap, but that's where people kind of get it wrong, right? Because you're not the same. Like you said, like if you're going after roofers and I'm going after like language coaches, right? They're not going to speak the same language, right? So if you're using a fixed script, it's not going to work. But the moment you kind of really understand the kind of principle and the importance of how a framework actually works, like you said, it's like it's kind of like a suit. I think of it like as a suit, right? Like this kind of like mobile suit, right? Power up suit, and anyone can wear the suit, but when you kind of put that suit on and like put it on and go out there. It's like it gives you your own kind of special power, right? So if you put on the suit, you're gonna have like this, maybe mind reading abilities, right? If I put on the suit, maybe I might have super jump. Super jump sounds like a shit power, but do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, it could be kind of fun.
Right. So yeah, that's how I kind of really see like frameworks. It really just allows you to kind of plug yourself into what works, right? And that's the thing, it still works, it's still effective, but it allows you to still be yourself, which is so key, because people really feel it, right? Like prospects really feel if you're just reading off a script versus if you're just kind of coming across and being yourself, and the latter always.
So you mentioned like, that you didn't quite understand maybe the difference. I mean, you knew the difference in a script and a framework, but you didn't understand the impact to you. When did that happen for you? And like, what was that catalyst, do you think?
So the impact of like the framework?
Of understanding why that's more powerful.
Yeah. I've been on, sales calls and, trying to follow the script, and it just felt like, really kind of, rigged and
trapped.
Yeah, like I couldn't kind of be myself. And it's like, if say I want to find out their current situation and their pains and, what's kind of stopping them from going there, if the client goes straight into like their pains, then like, oh shit, step one, we have to go back to it. And it's like, you're just so out of it. Like, you already know, like the number one key to sales is listening, right? But if you're so focused on like this script, then it's just like, you can't do that. You can't inject your own personality and actually listen.
Right.
So I'd been through that, and I'd seen how that didn't work. But then the moment I actually understood the kind of importance of the framework, and it's just like, literally be yourself, but kind of make sure you tick off these boxes, right?
Right. That's what I love about the framework, right? We give you, these are the different buckets that you've got to put something into. The order doesn't matter. And I love like hearing like, because I ask other people like, what was that moment? And it seems to be mainly when they tried to do a script.
That's
right. And then you're like, whoa, like when you're not on the phone, you're like, oh, this is fantastic. You know what I mean? But then you actually get on a call and you're like, I don't know how to then not sound like a robot when I move forward.
Yeah, that's it. And and I mean, as well as when you actually do the framework, like I see, follow the framework, but like being yourself, like just being authentic, you literally feel it yourself, and it's like, oh, that felt good, like that felt natural. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's just the biggest difference. And like once I actually followed the framework and I saw the kind of positive response from the prospect, it was like, okay, well, I get it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
I love that. One of the big things I also love about you that I want to bring attention to is, you got your first client not long after you got into the program, I think. I can't remember the exact timing, but it was pretty quick.
But at the same time,
Yeah. So it was kind of like, okay, we're in, and you still have that client. So your very first marketing client ever, you landed, and you have kept almost for an entire calendar year. So what we do know about digital agencies, and I will argue with anybody, is that the sales is the easy part. We have to teach you the frameworks like we do, right? This is how you do this thing, but they need what we have so badly. The sale isn't the hard part. And you learned that. The hard part is the operations and fulfillment. So how did you kind of navigate that? That's a difficult thing to navigate that a lot of people can't do, right? They to maintain that super high churn rate of keeping that recurring coming in. So what is that like for you?
Yeah, awesome question. First of all, I want to refer back to the koala on the human world. Right?
I do love the
I might have to like post it in the comment section so you see what I'm talking about.
Guys, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
100%, because when I closed that client, I was completely just new. I was a noob, like level 1. Do you know what I mean? Like for those you used to play Pokemon, all I knew was like tackle and like screech. Those were the only moves I knew, right? Super weak. And yet regardless of that, because of again, heavily relying on you and asking questions and looking to you for guidance, I was able to, of course, kind of perform on the service delivery side of things. So things I didn't understand about ads or how to reply to clients, right? Like I could turn to you and you could really kind of give me that feedback there and really show me that a lot of the things, this is as well for like people who are just starting off, a lot of things that you think are huge are really not that big. Like I remember it was time for me to invoice a client, right? And you know, on simple invoices, you obviously you can have the subscribe button, but I was scared to set up like a subscription, right? So I was doing it manually every day, every month. And there was one time that I invoiced the client, but that's it. You know, you can save their card. Yeah, you can save their card and then just be like, yep, send the invoice, have it paid automatically. So I did that, and I was like, before doing it, I was like, oh, should I click the button? Like, should I click the button? Like, should I invoice them? Because like I have the power to take money from someone's account, and that felt so strange.
Right.
And like that simple thing there, I was like, oh my gosh, like Kelly, I feel so.
I remember that.
Yeah, I feel.
You're freaking out.
I was freaking out. Like I was freaking
I'm like,
out.
push the button.
Literally. Literally. So it's like small things like that. And like now it's just like it's obviously nothing, right? Obviously you have to invoice the client to get paid. But it's just small things like that. That again, kind of looking back, I've just grown so much on. So I've rambled. I forgot what was the question to me? What was the question?
No, we're just talking about, you know, the fact that you were able to keep that client, like kind of what that felt like. Because
Right,
a lot of people cannot do that. Like that,
Yeah.
you know, once you're getting in, it is not abnormal to do a couple of sales, have maybe something end a little bit badly, or just end even on good terms, but like, hey, this isn't working, right? As you learn that process. I love the way that you think about things, and you really do take, you know, any education that you have and like really reflect. You watch your Q&As, you know, like you were the one that was really super proactive. Like I can't do the work for you, right?
Yeah.
You did all of the work. But how, like the long-term game is clearly what you're playing, right?
Yeah.
How did you make that distinction, or is that just who you are? And so that's kind of how you landed. What was that like for people who don't know how that works?
For like making the decision for the long term.
Yeah. Was that a conscious decision or?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's something that kind of probably popped up in one of our kind of Q&A calls, right? Because like I said, a lot of us, I think, kind of jump into it and we just think, yeah, cash flow, money kind of thing, right? And then you quickly realize that if you come in with that mindset, that's probably why churn rate's so high, right? Because you're not in it for the right reason. You're just thinking cash. And I think the moment that, because again, I'm working super niche, right? I'm working with like language coaches and neuroscientists. I've realized that the moment I kind of changed from thinking money to like, let me really like focus on the growth of this client's business and the potential that they have and the impact they can make, that's when the way I started acting towards the client started changing, right? And I think they felt that as well. Like people know,
felt it like that.
Yeah, straight away, because people know if you're in it for just like the cash or if you're literally in it for the long term, right? And being in it for the long term, you just give off this completely different vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but definitely 100%. That's something that came through the process. It wasn't something at the beginning where I was like, I'm going to be in this for the long term. Like, no, I'll be real. Like, it wasn't that. But it did. It just came over time. It's like, whoa, long-term thinking is the kind of way to go. And that's, you know, again, that's a testament to why I even still have this client, right?
And
also mention, oh my gosh, they adore me.
And that feels good too. You're like, they love me. It's excellent.
Yeah, because that's the other thing as well. Like, because when you're starting out, it's like, oh my gosh, are they going to leave me? Are they going to leave me? But like, again, if you're in it for the long term, giving off that vibe, they feel it. And like the other day, the client was like, oh my gosh, Jamal, you know, thank you so much. We appreciate the work you do so much. You know, we wish we could hire you, kind of thing. And I was like, oh gosh, like, you know, buy me dinner first. And we had a good laugh about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But like when you hear that, it's like you feel like good, like, you know, I don't have to worry anymore because we're good. Do you know what I mean? They know that we're here for them, and you know they're going to be happily stay a client. So yeah, man, being into the, you know, going in with that long-term mentality is definitely the way. Even if you do want to be in it for the short term, right? Still kind of think, act, and feel with that kind of long-term kind of mentality, because people feel it, and it just makes a while.
And we talk a lot about that in the program of you know, that emotional intelligence of being able to kind of feel that from them. They're going to feel it from you. They might not be able to understand it or articulate it. That's our job, right? But the second we change, they're going to feel it. It's how they respond.
Mhm.
So that's a whole thing. I love that you pick up on that. You know that they were feeling that. It was a conscious decision to be like, hold on a minute. Like, let me do right by these people
Yeah.
that did invest in you. I think people miss that. So I do like that about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite questions to ask is, so I remember I talked to you, when you came into the program, right? All of that's recorded. Like, we know why that decision was made. But for you, what did you expect it to be versus what is it?
Wicked question. Yeah. Yeah. So I, because when I first met you, you were kind of teaching about service delivery, right? So I literally just thought, oh my gosh, I got this client. How the frick do I deliver for them, Kelly? Right? She's going to teach me how to do the service delivery. And by the way, guys, like I'm still doing this by myself. Like, I haven't got this massive team. Like, I'm still very much kind of in the trenches doing all of it myself, right? Which is a conscious decision. But yeah, I thought it would just be about service delivery. But my God, like, going through the program, I realized it teaches you how to be a business owner, like how to literally run a business. And that's something that I wasn't prepared for. But was pleasantly surprised, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're not just running an agency. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like you're not just running an agency, right? You think, yeah, I'm just gonna run an agency, get a couple clients. It's like, not really. You're running a business, and again, that's linked to the whole kind of long-term thinking. And anyway, I can go on further, but that's the main thing. Like, the course, the mentorship teaches you how to be a business owner, right? And how to think for yourself. And that's been huge. And I think that's also part of the reason, big part of the reason why my own confidence has skyrocketed over the year, because I'm not just like, this freelancing cowboy. Like, I'm a developing business owner. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah.
No, I love that. And, I love that answer, because that is what we do. And that's a really hard thing to try to tell somebody, right? Being a business owner, they're like, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not making 10 or 20K or whatever. So I don't need a business, right?
Yeah.
You're like, but you do, right? So we focus on marketing, sales, operations, and fulfillment as the 4 departments, and how to manage those. So, I love that answer. It's difficult. So it's not tactics, but it is, because, we taught you how to run Facebook ads, and you still do that, right?
Sure, yeah.
But being able to say, I'm a business owner, like, how does that feel? Like, when you introduce yourself, that this is what I do, or how does that feel for you?
Man, it's so, it changes everything again, right? Because you feel like at the start, you feel like you have to get to a certain point, right, to be like, okay, now I'm a business owner. I'm not taking care of myself.
Right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like no, I've even got it written here. It says, feel, do, get, right, as opposed to get, do, feel. Like, you have to feed it first. So when you actually feel like that business owner, then again, everything changes, because the way you kind of turn up changes, right? You don't turn up like, oh yeah, we can run your ads, and it's like, yeah, look, yeah, we can run your ads, and you just turn up with this different conviction, because you are that person. Do you know what I'm saying? You're a business owner. You're not just some, cowboy trying to beg buck.
And the digital agency world is still filled with that, right? Like, it's still new enough that that's a massive thing.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, again, it links back to that kind of long-term thinking as well. Like, if you have that business owner mentality, if you decide, look, I'm a business owner. Do you know what I mean? Even if I have 1 client, 2 clients, even if someone's paying me 500 a month, 200 a month, whatever it is, like, the moment you decide you're a business owner is the moment you're a business owner. And that was, I think it was you that told me that, actually. But like, that was just such a awesome piece of advice, because again, we feel like we have to achieve something to be a business owner, right? Like, bro, what is a business owner? Do you know what I mean? You decide. Do you know what I'm saying? The moment you just wake up like, I'm a business owner, boom, that's it. All right, how does a business owner turn up? How do you want to turn up? You decide those things, and that's it. And it just changes. It changes everything. So
I love that. Yeah, you are different. I mean, you and I privately should go back and watch that, because we do have it recorded. The first times that we chatted, right? And like, who you are now, I love that. In just a year, right?
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that. Well, I do appreciate your time. We're getting up on about 25 minutes now. I don't want to take up too much, but if you could leave them, anybody that's thinking about me for mentorship, cyberpreneur, inferno, whether it's a group or one-on-one or whatever that looks like for them, what would you tell them if they're on the fence?
I'll say, look, if you're stuck, or if you're on the fence, like, first of all, you have to realize, like, it's easy to forget, but Kelly's a crazy, like, Kelly's a legit business owner. Yeah, like she's been in the agency game. Like, there's so much more to Kelly than just kind of like the mentoring, right? Like, she runs ish every day. And the moment you kind of get into the program, that's what you're getting. I think that's the key thing about the mentorship, right? It's just having that kind of close contact with someone that's been there, done it. Any issue or problem that's going to arise for you, right? You can just refer to someone. It's like having that big, older sister to be like, hey, look, I'm having this problem at school. It's like, oh, just do this, do that, and it's cool. And what that does is it gives you this massive confidence. Do you know what I mean? And there's a saying that I love. It's like, those that it's like believe and achieve, basically, right? If you believe it, you can achieve it. And basically, being in a mentorship just gives me that belief. It's like, even if I don't know something, if there's a piece I don't know, I know I can, at least refer to Kelly or ask Kelly, and I can get that piece every time. So, it's just that confidence, and that's just something that you really can't. How do you get that?
Right.
I mean,
fair.
So,
no, I love that. Thank you for that, Jamal, and thank you for your time. I cannot wait to see what the next year brings you. It's going to be epic. I mean, it's going to be insane. So, and again, thank you, and I will chat to you soon. Okay.
Bye. Awesome. Peace, guys. Take care.